I recently saw Barbie in theaters and it was a great experience. I wasn't able to go right away because I was camping, so I had heard a bunch of hype for it, and I got a little worried that it wouldn't live up to that, but I think it did. I had also never seen a Greta Gerwig film, and I was happy to learn that she is a great director with a unique voice. Add that on top of the fact that Margot Robbie and Ryan Gosling gave stellar performances, and it was a winning film for me. Not to mention the extended cast being great as well. All in all, just a top-notch movie. But this is not a review of Barbie as you might have guessed from the title of the video. I wanted to talk about instead the idea of a Barbie sequel and if that's something that is even needed, or if it could, in my opinion, end up actually detracting from the original Barbie movie that's taken the world by storm. Ever since Barbie made box office history by being the first solely female directed project to hit $1 billion, and even before that, there have been questions about a sequel, and to be fair, it does seem like a logical next step. As someone who likes to read about movies, I've been bombarded with articles and opinions online about if they'll end up making a Barbie sequel. If you actually Google Barbie sequel, you will see at least 10 articles about the possibility of a sequel happening or people questioning why it hasn't been confirmed yet. There's probably even more by the time I actually put the short video out, considering how long it takes me to actually make videos. Quote, Barbie is about to be the $1 billion movie, but has no sequel in sight. From The Hollywood Reporter. We don't need a Barbie sequel. From Collider. Barbie's been crushing at the box office, but not so fast on a sequel to the Margot Robbie movie. From Yahoo. These are a few of the many articles that talking about the idea of a sequel that came up when you Google Barbie sequel. Not to mention all the people on Twitter that have talked about it in the last few days. To sum up what a lot of them are saying is pretty easy because most of them are saying the same thing. Barbie is good, has made a ton of money, and has been wildly popular. And usually that would mean a sequel would already be in active early development, or at least a very obvious next step. Margot Robbie, Ryan Gosling, and probably Greta Gerwig would have been locked down for a sequel immediately, but it seems that there are a ton of roadblocks to that guaranteed hit being made. First of all, none of the major leads or Gerwig are contractually obligated to come back for a sequel, and it seems Gosling doesn't really like to do sequels at all, so that would probably be a hard sell no matter how much money it would make for everyone. Obviously, they can make a sequel without them, but I think we can all agree that that would probably be a flop. Secondly, and very importantly, the writers and actors strike is going on right now, and who knows how long that will continue. With the current news coming out about negotiations, I think it's going to be a while longer before that's sorted out. So even if the actors and writers want to come back, it doesn't look like they would be able to talk about that anytime soon. But besides all these reasons why a sequel isn't being developed yet, I think the biggest thing we should be asking is if we, as fans, need a sequel. Do we need a sequel? Now, don't get me wrong, I think the Barbie movie was amazing. I think I made that pretty clear a minute ago. It was a beautifully shot film that explored the negative impacts of the patriarchy through the Barbie brand, as well as some other ideas throughout. But I just don't think we need a sequel. No, but seriously, I think that the movie did what it set out to do, and making more in that universe would only be treading the same ground, and walking the same path over and over can get pretty boring if there's nothing new to look at along the way. It was amazing, but personally I think the chances of any new entries in the series doing more harm than good are pretty high, especially when you consider the fact that Greta Gerwig said to the New York Times recently that, quote, at this moment, it's all I've got. I feel like that at the end of every movie, like I've never had another idea and everything I've ever wanted to do, I did. I wouldn't want to squash anybody else's dream, but for me, at this moment, I'm at totally zero. Now, she could for sure have more ideas around the Barbie world that she brought to life, but should any of us be rooting for that? If she said everything that she wanted to say, that might be a good sign that adding more could be the same as saying something that has no substance. I think most of us know that studios are fine releasing a movie sequel even if it has no substance to it. Heck, look at most direct-to-DVD sequels if you want proof of that. I'm looking at you, early 2000s Disney. It makes financial sense why they like to do this. A sequel is a very safe bet for a studio. It's an established property with mostly established characters that have made money before. They can market it as more of what you love. A sequel doesn't always make more money than the original, though it sometimes does, but they very often make a decent profit, usually having diminishing returns as more sequels are made. If you make a sequel, you can also make more merchandise that'll have a longer shelf life because the property will most likely be relevant for longer. All in all, I can see why the people on the money-making side of things would love to, but that doesn't mean it's always the best thing for the filmmakers, the actors, us, or even the industry as a whole. Now, Ryan Gosling and Margot Robbie are by no means new to the scene of acting, but Greta Gerwig is still sort of a rising star in my opinion when it comes to directors. I think a good reason to not make a sequel is to give her time to develop new movies that can explore different ideas, or play around with ideas from a different angle. If Barbie isn't anything for Miss Gerwig, I think it is to prove to studios that she can bring in huge numbers while exploring heavy topics in a nuanced way through the lens of an unproven property. This could be a great time to see more projects for her, and I think it would be kind of a shame to have her wrapped up in Barbie for however many more years when we could get more creative new things from her. Plus, I don't think Ryan Gosling would come back for a Barbie movie since it seems like he doesn't like to do sequels as a general rule, which is great. great because I would much rather see him in new original projects. They could do the movie without him, but I think it would be a shame when Ken was such a great part of the original film. I had the same sort of thought about Robbie, who obviously isn't opposed to reprising roles given her outings as Harley Quinn. I would just much rather see her take on new characters instead of doing Barbie again. To sum it all up, I just don't think they should make a sequel to the Barbie movie. While I can't know the opinions of everyone, I don't think that's really something the majority of fans would even want, even if it's tempting to see more of a world that you enjoyed watching. In fact, I think making more movies in the Barbie universe could end up tarnishing the original film. Even if the studio ends up wanting more, they should let the actors and filmmakers explore new projects so that they can see their takes and perspectives on other ideas. Now, this doesn't mean we won't eventually get the Barbie sequel, but I hope that someone in charge of that considers these things when they ultimately decide to make another film or not. Plus, if people are putting all their resources towards a new Barbie movie, how are we ever going to get all those other great new Mattel projects that are unfortunately coming our way? Yeah, so anyway, if you made it this far, I want to say thanks for watching. I haven't made any videos on this channel in a long time, but I figured I would give it a shot again and try to talk about movies and games. So look out for more of that. Let me know your thoughts on the Barbie movie, and if you think they should make a sequel, I'd love to read them in the comments. Drop a like if you enjoyed this, and you'll hopefully be hearing from me again soon. Bye!